Hey everyone, welcome to the Tom's Hardware Podcast for November 23rd, 2021. As always, I'm Editor-in-Chief Avram Pelch, joined by Associate Editor Les Pounder, Raspberry Pi expert Ash Puckett, and our very special guest, Paul Beech from Pimoroni, who is joining us today to talk about the amazing things that Pimoroni is working on. And of course, there's some really big sales at Pimoroni this Black Friday week. So how's your Black Friday week going, Paul?
So far, so good. Touch wood, everybody's turning up, buying all the stuff we've got. And we're only kind of on day two of our offers, so there's the rest of the week to go. It's good.
Yeah, no question about it. A great place to get gifts for people or for oneself, because you can very easily, because there's so much to play with. Last year, my son and I got a whole bunch of Pimoroni kits, and we spent like a lot of January putting things together. So it was super cool. So I understand that you're working on some new products too. What do you have in the pipeline?
So much stuff. Yeah, we've got kind of stuff like this little screen here. This is just something we're kind of buying in, but we also have a new e-ink screen, which is full color, which is going to be a smaller version of our big ink impression. And we have our Hub 75 driver using the RP2040. That's called Instate 2075. And that's going to go on these LED matrices and allow you to use a RP2040 Pico chip just to drive those from USB-C. And also, we have the Trilobot.
Oh, very nice. How do you pronounce that?
Trilobot. So it's like Trilobite, but with a bot.
So what does it do, and how is it different from other bot kits you've made in the past, like the STS Pi?
It is the successor to the STS Pi, so this has come in and basically killed the STS Pi to replace it. What we've got Chris Parrott, who's now our head of robots, even though he's not a real parrot.
Well, it
He's
fits in with the Pimoroni parrot theme, so there you go.
Yeah, he kind of fit right in, but his speciality is robots, and this is kind of his first product, big product that's out there. He kind of said, okay, STS Pi is okay, but what if I made it better and suitable for people who like robotics and do robotics? And so we've been kind of talking to a university, and this is what we're going to use as their demonstrator platform. And it's got all the basic stuff like the ultrasonics, camera, battery pack, Pi, but also lots of extensions like stemmer quick connectors, extra breakout garden connectors there if you want them, LEDs underneath, and just generally it's a good kit for kind of exploring robotics as a base.
So what is the kit going to come with, and what do you have to bring yourself?
We're going to do two versions of the kit. We're going to do the more stripped down version, which is just the essential mainboard and things like the apparatus here for people who've already got a camera, who've already got a Pi. But we'll also have the full beans kit with like the power bank, the Pi, everything in there. And we're hoping that'll come in about £100 plus VAT.
Wow. So when is this coming out?
As soon as stuff arrives from the great big rock candy mountain, as they say. Everything's stuck in containers at the moment. So I think we're waiting for the power banks. They're due probably about a week or so, depending on how Folkestone is. And I think our USB cable's just arrived. Because if you look, this one's fake. It's a phony. It's only got one end. But we've got these really neat battery banks which have a USB-C PD connector and also a USB-A at the back. So these are they're good for a budget kit, but they're actually a quality power bank that doesn't cost the earth. Nico's took it for his paces, and he's very impressed with the circuitry in there.
Yeah, I mean that's really important, because one of the big challenges with the STS Pi was finding a battery that could fit in that form factor, which was
Yeah,
usually getting like that cylindrical battery. I actually have one.
like this kind of
Actually,
stuff.
yeah, I have it right here. Actually, oh wait, I'm not showing you, but anyway, I have it right here, I should say.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, it's and that there aren't many aren't many like that, and then getting the battery to kind of stay there with those clips was a little bit of a challenge. So
Yeah.
having something that's made for it is a really big plus.
Yeah. It's strapped on as well, so you could just use something like this if you wanted. No problem. And, it's a versatile platform like that.
Yeah, I mean that's really great. So what type of camera is that? Is that a regular Raspberry Pi camera?
So that's the Raspberry Pi, V2 camera, the 5 megapixel one.
Oh, fantastic. So is this made out of acrylic, or what type of materials are you using?
So these are PCBs. It's
Mhm.
FR4 all the way through, and it's got nice gold accents on it. And you can't quite
Nice.
see it here, but Chris actually designed a nice kind of Ghost in the Shell type diamond pattern on here. So you could flip this top plate over to be kind of all business or be a little bit fancy. And yeah, and on the back there you've kind of got the logo, which is little kind of trilobite type thing to match its kind of prehistoric looks. And you can imagine it a bit like a horseshoe crab.
Uh,
Because, we're whimsical.
that's really good, because another thing that I think not having acrylics is definitely makes building any kit easier. I last year I got a whole bunch of acrylic kits that use acrylic in various ways, and it's just like it's such a challenge sometimes to get the little pieces into each other, uh,
Yeah.
and the acrylic's not the most durable. So
Yeah, a lot of people don't appreciate that most acrylic sheet is plus or minus 10% tolerance. So if you cut a 3mm slot for something to go in, and you get a 3.2mm thick piece of acrylic, that's never going to go. It's yeah, it's easy to mess it up. We know, having cut millions of laser cut pieces in
yeah,
acrylic.
I had an interesting time. One of the first things that I tried to do with so my son managed to break the piece that goes here that holds your camera,
Yeah,
and so when I got 3D printer this summer, like the first thing I did was like, oh, I'm going to try and make a replacement piece, and I found someone had made one on Thingiverse, but
yeah,
it didn't fit. So like I went and I tried shrinking it like 5% or something like that, and magically it fit.
yep,
Uh, Although I still wasn't able to get rid of the holes that the person had put in it exactly, but and get it exactly what I wanted. But it is really tough getting stuff into the acrylic, and I mean this is not
yeah,
the only product that uses a lot of acrylic. So
yeah.
if you can have something not acrylic, it's definitely more sturdy, I find.
There's just kind of so much PCB capacity as well, and the tolerance is good. They're easy to design for. They come with free kind of silk screen printing. Why not use them for a lot of stuff? They're durable. Yeah,
Yeah, that's that's fantastic. That looks like a really awesome robot.
yep.
So so what else are you guys working on?
So to go with the robot, Chris is doing a whole bunch of other stuff. So there's going to be servo drivers, modular robotics platforms. These are basic motors with 2 pins, but we're going to have 6-pin ones which have encoders as well. So you can actually do more precise movement with them. And I think the other thing I've been doing this week is I've been designing a Cyberpunk Badger for a RP2040 e-ink badge thing that's going to be hopefully super cheap and a great way to get started with development with RP2040. So we're going to make it so that everybody can have one of those.
Oh,
Yeah,
neat. So is it sort of like the Adafruit mag tag, but with
a bit like MagTag,
RP2040?
more basic, but yeah,
Yeah,
Just
similar
look
kind
like
of similar kind of form factor. It's going to have the little dongle so you can put your lanyard on it and all of that good stuff.
yeah.
cool.
That is really cool. Uh, we got the mag tag like a few months ago, and it's not RP2040, so we're kind of we really want to program things that are not that we couldn't program it
Yeah,
in Circuit
Adafruit have got
Python.
like the best support because they invest so much in Circuit Python. They put so much work into that, so everything can run it pretty much that they do, and everyone else's stuff. So the MagTag is just a joy to work on. It's a good platform. It's got a lot of stuff on. This will be a lot more simpler, but hopefully, touch wood, a lot more cheap as well. Just
Yeah,
very affordable.
yeah. That is that is absolutely fantastic. So now we're coming into obviously Black Friday season. what sorts of things can folks expect to find on the Pimoroni website?
I think what we tend to do is we tend to discount day by day. So we start off with the theme each day. So far, we've had robots and components today. I think yesterday was Pico and RP2040 stuff. Tomorrow will be Pi 400 and Breakout Garden, and we'll continue that through the week. And then at the weekend, whatever people haven't cleaned us out of, it'll all be discounted, so people can go crazy. And fortunately, we're doing okay with the stock we've got because we make stuff in house, and we spent pretty much the whole last year stocking up on components. We're actually quite good, and it's only a few cables and things that are stuck in the container queues at the ports. So yeah, it's a good position to be in.
So if you're shopping internationally where it costs a little bit more to ship and you don't want to do multiple orders in the same week, would you recommend folks like buy things on Saturday or Friday or something when there'll be the most diverse group of things on sale?
Yeah, unless there's something you really want that is likely to go out of stock. Yeah. You know, the shipping is, you know, £2 or £3, which we're not Amazon, we can't do it for free. But if you want something and you don't want it to run out of stock, buy it there and then. Otherwise, wait. And yeah, just don't go crazy. You know, it's very easy to go crazy. We wouldn't want people to kind of just go rabid in the expectation that things are going to run out of stock. It's not really kind of how we want people to be. The frenzy is a bit, yeah. we do encourage it, but at the same time, we don't want to encourage it too much.
No.
We'll have it back again sometime. So yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wait for Saturday.
Yeah, I'm just saying. So for if you're ordering within the UK, it's probably it's not that expensive, I think, to get the shipping. But if you're ordering it, it's not terribly expensive either to get it from here. But you know, if you were going to do it multiple times in a week, you would say, well, I want to do this once a week.
Yeah.
But that's it's really cool. There's a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty much everything you want to buy. It's all the mainline stuff. It's stuff we normally sell and stuff we continue selling. It's not end of line stuff. You know, it's genuine deals. So it doesn't seem much point otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly recommend to folks that they use this opportunity to, like, these are great gifts, particularly if you get the kits that you can give to a kid or an adult in your life that maybe wants to build something like a scrolling LED screen, or the Kibo, which is awesome.
Yeah,
my son and I had a lot of fun with that. So, and of course, last year we got a ridiculous amount of breakout garden parts.
Good.
And those are always fun because we have drawer of those, and we're like, well, we haven't quite figured out what we're going to do with some of them, but man, they're so cool. We'll figure it out.
It's going to come around. Yeah.
That's
and I think don't tell everyone this, but I think we might have some Pi 02 next week if anyone's waiting, but we'll see what turns up. I know people are waiting for those, and I've got one right here, and you haven't.
So how has supply been for regular Raspberry Pis? We know we've seen some issues with sellouts on regular Pi 4s.
It's kind of been, for the last year or so, it's been okay. They've held on really well. But then the last few weeks, it's kind of like, we're going to have to finally say that there are going to be problems into next year. And I think they had a public post about it, which was good of Eben. But they worked their bum off, kind of keeping supply good. So when they eventually said, right, we've gone as far as we can, it was big news, you know. It was kind of good that it was a benchmark and a news story that Raspberry Pi finally got hit after graphics cards have been terrible and PS5s have been terrible. So yeah, but yeah, they're coming in dribs and drabs still, but it's not as regular as they like, and they like to be kind of regular and reliable.
Are you going to start limiting people to buying like one Pi? I know Pi 02 is like one per person, but just in general.
I think the Pi 3 when we get them, the Pi 4 probably because they just run out so quickly, and generally we're not so much about the bulk. We do have some wholesale stuff. We do have bulk industrial customers, but really most of our stuff is individuals, and if we sell 300 to one person, we feel that's less useful than 100 people getting one.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And of course, the Pi Zeros have been one forever, because that's what the Pi Zero does. It's there so people can buy a cheap Pi and get started, not so we can support kind of somebody else's product or business model.
Yeah, no question. A few years back, and again, I recommend this as a gift giving philosophy. A few years back, I wanted to give all my staff members this was a little before your time, Les, Raspberry Pis, and I went out, and there's a store around here, Micro Center, where you can go in, but you can only buy one at a time. So I went to Micro Center like 10 times to buy everybody a Raspberry Pi Zero W, and then I made each of them a video greeting card, but they had to boot it to see my video greeting for them.
Yeah. But Micro Center are just crazy. You know, they don't mind people walking in again and again. They're just happy to see you.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Everyone knows Micro Center is always good for a few trips if you want to stock up on Pi.
Yeah.
But you've just got to live kind of close to one, really.
So, Lee asked, do you see Pimoroni making a mini sumo robot kit?
Not yet. Chris will be on it at some point, but he tends to go for the big serious robotics. So he started with this as his kind of entry-level one. I'd love to do one. I don't know if you've seen the tiny 2040 robots that have been floating around.
Yeah, we covered them a couple of weeks ago. They are really nice.
So yeah, we'd love to do that, and a mini sumo kit would be good, but I think until we've filled out kind of our range of motors and things, mini sumo will be a little way off. And I think at the moment Kitronic are doing really well in that kind of size with their Move Mini.
Yeah, no.
So it's on the list, but not yet.
Yeah, no question. Peabody asks, I want to upgrade my cluster hat to Pi Zero 2W. It needs 4 boards. Do you have a solution?
So this came up a lot with the Pi Zero as well, and of course officially it's absolutely forbidden for you to order multiples. The way it worked out in the end is people email support saying, look, you sell these cluster boards, the Pi Zero is 1 per order. Isn't that a bit weird? And it is, and if people cared enough to email us, we kind of let them through, and we were thankful that people kind of notified us so we didn't cancel their orders and make them mad. Pi Zero 2W, that won't happen for a while, because there are not that many around. And until next year, I don't think there will be enough where we can do that. At the same time, we're not going to spend our whole day kind of policing orders. So if somebody orders them like 2 or 3 weeks apart, a month apart, we haven't got time to come and try and stamp on those orders. So, yeah, that's the way to do it. Though I didn't tell you that.
Yes.
Secret pirate info.
Indeed. So what? So you guys have done so much with RP 2040 this year. What do you feel like is still left to do?
Oh, everything. The thing is that this is a really cheap chip that does USB and is ridiculously overpowered, reliable, and overspec'd for what it needs to do, and it needs to be put into everything. So we're just going to keep iterating on kind of things that go from products all the way to dev boards, and that just solve problems. And we're just getting better at the coding side of it. Traditionally, our software has been pretty basic. We're now upping our sophistication so that it's easier for people to do things like USB host and things like that, and ride on the back of the work that's been done to make that easier. So I don't know if you've seen the Pico DV we released.
Oh.
It's like the VGA demo board, but with a HDMI port on it.
Oh yes, I did see that.
Yeah, so that's always had a second USB port in it, which you can use for USB host. So you can actually plug a keyboard or gamepad in there and use that. It's just there's no really good drivers yet. So one of the community are working on that, and they've already got it working. But it means you can turn that into kind of a NES-like console.
Someone says they miss your bilge tank show.
Yeah. Bilge Tank was great. We just have no time anymore. Like, normally around this time we do Freeboot or Yabooty, which is where we give away loads of stuff, and we're just too tired and wrecked to do it properly. There will be a free giveaway. It just won't be as much as it was previous years. So like that and Bilge Tank, it's just having the time and the people and the brain space to spend time on that. And it's down to me that we haven't done that. I need to do a lot more content, but I am a tired Paul. So many silks to do.
We can imagine you doing so much. And
do you know how much effort it takes to cut and paste a seahorse onto a PCB?
Oh, but it looks nice.
It does. It doesn't take that long, but it's just there's a lot of them to do. And just choosing the particular angle and just making it look nice, it's hard work.
The one thing I haven't seen anybody do as a kit yet for RP2040, which is something I've personally been trying to figure out how to do for a while, is make your own game controller with RP2040. CircuitPython kind of gives you the ability to do that, but it's not. None of the Bluetooths we found yet have the ability to do pairing, where you could actually like successfully sub it for like a Nintendo controller or something like that. But
the thing you're going to do with the Bluetooth stuff is you're going to piggyback it off an ESP32. Chris has already had that working, so you can control this using an RP2040 and an ESP32, I think C3, the new mini one, and he's got that working pretty well using I think it's the ESP32 gamepad firmware that's out there. And having an ESP32 and an RP2040 does seem a bit like weird overkill and duplication, and it is, but it serves its purpose. But that's the way we've done it in terms of having a wireless gamepad. Now, if you wanted a wired gamepad, that's a bit easier, I think.
Yeah,
the USB HID stuff is pretty good, especially the CircuitPython stuff.
Yeah, that is really good. We have such designs on building our own Nintendo controller here, but the number one thing we have to do is figure out how to actually print a case that will have the right look and feel.
Yeah, I think there might be stuff on the internet you can start with, or are you designing this from first principles?
Oh,
is this a creation?
We're not that good.
Not that good yet.
Yes, we're not that good yet. maybe later. Well, that is absolutely amazing. It's just really exciting to see all the new products that you guys are always coming out with. It's always a blast, and there's just always more and more cool stuff to play with.
Yep, and we have 2 complete production lines in house now. We finally got our oven that we've been waiting 6 months for to ship from Korea, and it's just been waiting for a container, and it finally turned up. So we have like 2 complete, up-to-date, modern, blistering production lines now in Sheffield.
Congrats! That's exciting.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And I think as of the 1st of December, we are going to be 44 people. So
wow.
Cool.
44 people do all of that?
Yeah, just everything from the ground up. Design, make, ship, package, what have you.
Wow, that's amazing with such a small group.
Yeah. It's hard work. We're tired. But Christmas is coming, so we get a rest.
Fair enough. So speaking of new products, Les, you have just gotten in a new camera, which I bet at some point Pimoroni may stock. What's that like?
It's really good. So I've had this in my possession for 24 hours. I've been playing with it for about 4 or 5 hours today. So it's the Ardu Cam. It's a new autofocus camera that's coming out as a Kickstarter. I think in about a week's time it'll be a Kickstarter. And they've sent one to me for review, so have a look through and to talk about, really. So I'm going to show you just some photographs and features that they're showing on their website for this. But also you can see a little shot, and there it is, here my finger. That's the actual camera. It's a 16 megapixel camera, the same quality sensor as the OnePlus phones. I don't remember which one it is. That wasn't my dog, by the way. It's a Sony IMX519 sensor. It's found in the OnePlus 6 and 6T smartphones. So it's got a better sensor than what comes with the Raspberry Pi HQ camera. But the form factor, as you can see here, it looks identical to the smaller version 2 cameras that you can get that fit into projects, such as Pimoroni's robot. So the difference between this isn't just purely it's got a sensor that has a better sensor. It's autofocus as well, which previous cameras you could manually sort the focus out yourself if you had a steady hand and a craft knife to cut away on the plastic sheath just around the lens. I've done it myself, nearly cut my finger off. That was fun. But with this, you don't have to. It's all automatic. So I'm going to just show. So this is my Raspberry Pi 4 8 gig running in front of me. And we have a Lego Boba Fett just here. And you can see the focus is on Boba Fett. So I'm going to move Boba just a bit forward. There we go. You can see it's just a bit out of focus now. So I can change the focus using just this Python app here. There's a slider pressing up and down, which is cool, but we want autofocus. So at the minute, I'm still learning how to do all of this. It's got quite an interesting library. It uses lib camera. This is Debian Bullseye I'm using at the moment. So I'm just going to close this window here and start a new one with autofocus ready to go. And wherever I move Boba Fett, it's going to autofocus. So you see it just comes straight into life. The image just jumps a little bit. Now if I move Boba away, the autofocus doesn't follow. Now it isn't an autofocus where it always hunts to see where the object is. It's setting a focus roughly in the center of shot. But if I close that window and then open it again, you'll see it jumps again to search for the focus. There's probably a way in lib camera to actually automate this. I haven't found it yet, but I'm going to keep tinkering. So this camera, about a week's time, it's going to come out as a Kickstarter with a final price of about $25 when it goes on full retail. So the Kickstarters are generally a little bit less than that. Same form factor as version 2 and version 1.3 cameras. It runs lib camera just like we do now on Bullseye. And you've got this autofocus and a lot better, cleaner sensor ready to go. So I'm really enjoying it. So I'm going to have a proper play and get a review up on Tom's Hardware very soon.
That's brilliant.
That looks really nice. You know what I wish I could do, and I don't know, Paul, if you guys have already come up with a solution for this. I wish there was a way I could put mount a camera on my breakout garden, because I put that hat on top of things. Is there a way to do it, or like even just sort of fake mount it or something?
There's a thermal camera, and that's about it. So what we could do is put one of the kind of cheapo OV camera modules on there, because some of those do talk over SPI, but it's not really ideal when there are other better ways to kind of use the camera. Can you fake mount it? I think you probably could. We have adapters that do things like quick or stemmer ST mounting. Mm-hmm. I think using one of those as a kind of glue component, so you could use the breakout garden slots, would be the best.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Otherwise, get 3D printing.
Yeah. not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. So Ash, what are you working on this holiday season?
So since I had Black Friday on the mind, I wanted to focus on not shopping from the buyer's perspective, but from the seller's perspective, because I know there's some of you out there who have your own small businesses. You sell a few things, maybe you're Pimoroni, right? Everyone has, something to sell if you're a seller. That doesn't make sense. Why did I say that? I'm sorry. So if you've got a small business and you've got inventory to manage, I wanted to see if there was a way that you could handle that on the Raspberry Pi. So I've got a couple of tools I wanted to share with you guys that you can use to set up your own systems, things like that. The first one that I wanted to talk about was this project that somebody else put together. And the reason I wanted to talk about this particular project is because it was developed recently. So it's more likely to work on more current versions of Raspberry Pis. But if you check out on Instructables, this project is created by a maker known as Justinian. He's using a USB barcode scanner with the Raspberry Pi to both keep track of inventory, but also he can... I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. I need just a moment.
Paul, you sell barcode scanners at Pimoroni, don't you?
We do. And do you know what runs our shopping and shipping terminals? Raspberry Pi with barcode scanners.
Nice.
Wow.
We've
That's
been
really
using them
nice.
forever. They're just great. And we switch them off every night, switch them back on in the morning, and they never corrupted the SD card. They were just super reliable.
Do you know who else uses pies and barcode scanners?
Everyone.
Blackpool
No.
Pleasure Beach.
Hey.
Their ticketing system for people going into the amusement park is Raspberry Pis.
Yep. We know of a couple of places because, again, I was saying we have some industrial customers, and one of them does use barcode scanner, Pi, and a unicorn hat at turnstiles. So when you scan your kind of wrist, it shows you a green or a red light to say you can come in through the turnstile, and it's all run through Raspberry Pi.
Cool.
Oh,
Talking unicorn hat, I went through my box of bits the other day looking for stuff, and I found 9 unicorn hats. Where did they come from? I also found 3 unicorn hat, the mini ones, the old ones.
Yeah.
And
See, Les, when you have a boy unicorn hat and a girl unicorn hat,
I'm going to cut you off right there and talk about this Kickstarter I found really quick. This is a barcode hat that's made for the Pico. So we're going to go back to RP2040 stuff. And they recently reached their goal on Kickstarter for this project, but they have not only a hat, but a little breakout board too. So you can connect the breakout boards through a USB port. And that's pretty cool. You can find it on Kickstarter. Like I said, it's called the Raspberry Pi Pico barcode hat. It's a pretty straightforward name. But I think it has like 30 GPIO, or not 30 GPIO. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of something else. It has a special module on it that can read up to 20 different types of barcodes, so QR codes, UPC codes, things like that. And it just uses a camera module to pick it up. So I thought that might be pretty neat, and I might want to check it out. What do you guys think? Do you have a use for Pi-powered inventory management system? Maybe you could sort, if you had a bunch of books, you could always scan the UPCs on your books and keep track of your library, something like that.
Yep. Pi is absolutely perfect for a little web server, a little database server. Building your own system is perfect. Nothing better.
Yeah. I don't have any barcodes I need to scan right now, but as I told some of these folks before our broadcast, I'm in the process of today setting up 2 Pi web servers in this room to do some work for us in the holiday season, because we're trying to automate as much as possible in terms of checking deals, doing things like going to Amazon and Newegg and checking out when some of the products there go out of stock or drop in price. So gotta set up a bunch of cron jobs. So anyway, I want to thank Paul for coming today. It's always wonderful to have you on our show and a great privilege. We want you to have a wonderful holiday, and we really look forward to seeing all these amazing new products. Everyone else, we will thank you for joining us. We will be here on Tuesday, as always, 7:30 p.m. UK time, 2:30 p.m. US Eastern, and we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.